But this update, we have some new unique weapons which you have maybe seen because we kind of showed some of it last year, or at least a bit of these, but now they are here in full force. So let's take a closer look at them, starting with the Winfield 1876 Centennial.
Yeah, so this is a completely new rifle that we have. It looks very familiar to its smaller cousin, the 1873. It's already in the game. Now, what is different with the 1876? So this is basically a large slot, but it is a medium ammo lever action rifle. And as such, it brings something new to the game that we're going to talk about a little bit more now.
Exactly, so it's a large slot weapon that's using medium ammo compared to the other Winfields. And it's a revolution rifle, obviously, and can use the iron repeater and levering traits just like the other Winfields.
So nothing really new in this regard. It's basically working like the normal Winfield mechanically, but it does fire a bigger round, and it has implications of how fast it can, for example, shoot, the recoil, just control in general, as well as the damage evolution over distance. And it still means obviously levering is always possible, but will be at a slower rate of fire. I think we're going to look at some videos in a second there as well.
Exactly. And this has a higher muzzle velocity and a large magazine size, which is its strength, I would say.
Yeah, I think like at the moment this weapon fires. I mean, we kind of modeled this after the historic weapon it's based on, right? It's supposed to like one of the first large bore hunting rifles that emerged as part of like the whole like big game hunting that happened in the second half of the 19th century, like the prairie, like the bisons, etc., that type of stuff. And it has a muzzle velocity of like 600 meters a second, which is actually very comparable to like what a long bullet rifle can do in the game. And the capacity is, I think, 9+1 rounds, so it's a large tube. However, it does have a little bit less punch than, for example, the Springfield and the Vetterli. They're in the game as well. So within the medium rifle category, it is like the weaker of the weapons, but obviously it makes up for that with the rate of fire as well as the ammo capacity.
That all sounds cool, and let's look at it in the picture. As you guys can see, we kind of show you a teaser picture, but now you can see it in its full glory. And more than just pictures, we actually have some awesome videos to show you. So let's just take a look at the weapon.
Yeah, so first thing is just the mechanics of it, just briefly. As you can see, there's probably not so much new there. You see a bit of the recoil of the weapon, firing sound, etc.
It sounds really cool though, like pretty punchy.
I can see like the reloading takes a little bit longer. It's just a bigger bullet that has to be pushed inside. So everything is a bit slower, a bit more common. It's like a slow-mo Winfield almost. And then as we go to levering in a second, you're gonna see like that the rate of fire is also like not that fast compared to the normal ones.
You can tell here as well it's slower. I mean, but sounds very beefy though. I like it.
So this is based on the Centennial model of that rifle, which was basically released as part of the Centennial exhibition first, and that's where I got its name from. It's basically a bit of a musket shape in terms of like it has a longer foregrip. You can see like the wood extends further out. That's why it gives you like the longer tube magazine underneath to hold the ammunition. So yeah, I think this is actually a pretty weapon, but it's obviously still a Winfield. It is a unique weapon, however, it's a complete new model, complete new skin. Alex and the guys have worked really hard on this one. I think it really shines.
And as you can see, as Dennis mentioned, here is your first look at levering. And it's a bit slower compared to the other Winfield.
Like think of the levering to be comparable to, for example, other large caliber weapons like the uppercut. Like if you fan the uppercut, it's significantly slower with fanning than the smaller calibers, and that's the same here, right? Like because it's a heavier bore, it's like a bigger bullet. It's just a bit harder to control. That's why the levering rate is just slower than it is, for example, with the 1873 that basically just fires handgun ammunition.
Yes, and the armor is even easier to see. Like the recoil is pretty nasty. Awesome, but that's not the only new weapon we have for you guys. As you may have known, we have yet another Winfield, the 1887 Terminus, which is actually a shotgun.
Man, that's like my new favorite toy. This is such a great piece of weapon. Again, a large slot. It's a lever action shotgun. So also part of the Winfield family, of the famous Winfield family of firearm makers. This one is a weapon you might have seen maybe in particular movies from the 80s here and there. I think it's a bit of a fan favorite. Many people have been asking for this one. So yeah, let's have a look at it.
Well, first, let's just go through what it can do. So, as Dennis said, it's a lever action shotgun, and it can also use the iron repeater and levering trade for a shotgun, which is kind of crazy. It has a 7 shell capacity and with a pretty good rate of fire, and this is how it looks.
Yeah, so the interesting part about this weapon is that like it has like a tube magazine capacity of 5, but actually holds 2 additional rounds. So compared to like some of the other weapons, which have like this +1 mechanic, so you can chamber 1, this one actually holds like an additional round in the elevator that kind of moves the rounds between the tube magazine into the breech. So that's why it can have like 7 rounds total, like basically a 5+2.
And we also have a bunch of videos to show you for this one, so let's just dive into them right away. Wow. That's brutal.
It's like basically like a big artillery piece, like the breech opening up. I so love the mechanical workings of this weapon. So I'm really happy with how like the art guys and animators have kind of like made this thing come to life. It really, really shines. It's really, really cool.
Even the reload is pretty badass, to be honest. Wow.
And see, like as you kind of cycle it one more time in order to elevate the round up into the chamber. Then, like it's one of the things that we do with Hunt, and you've seen it with the Spectre as well, like the 1882 shotgun. We try to mimic a little bit like the mechanical requirements these weapons have, right? So if it's a cumbersome weapon in real life, we try to make it cumbersome here as well. So like the mechanical pieces are really working nicely together, and just like it gives you like the sense of purpose and the sense of mechanical accuracy that I really enjoy.
And let's look at yet another video of it in action.
So this is like obviously with the iron repeater round and repeater trade, and then we see levering and bullet grabber.
Bullet grabber
I think
as well.
The most. I really love this animation, and you can really see as he's reloading this one, like how he's just like cramping these rounds in there. Just placing one on the elevator and then one more in the barrel, close to 7 rounds capacity. Really, really nice. I love that.
It takes pretty long to reload it though.
Yeah. Also, like from a damage perspective, so like this weapon is a medium length barrel, right? So you can see it's like not Romero or Auto 5 or Spectre level. This is more similar to like the barrel length that you see on the Rival as well as the Bayonet Spectre. So that means the spread and the accuracy is more matching with those 2 variations. So obviously something that's needed for this gun, because like with 7 round capacity and a pretty high rate of fire, even without levering, right? Like this needs some balancing. And what we have here is basically just balanced through damage as a compensating factor. That's why we chose like this barrel length in order to make sure it kind of sits nicely between the Spectre on the lower end and the Auto 5 on the upper end. And that's also obviously reflected in the price and unlock level.
Yeah, and as you guys saw, it can take out an armor pretty damn quick. So I guess this will be a good choice against the new armor types, because you don't want to punch them that much.
Well, this one is just gonna be a very flexible weapon, right? Like so, you have a chance to just like fire more frequently than with other shotguns. You have the rate of fire. If you invest into levering, obviously that thing kicks like a mule. You can see it, right? Like it's really hard to stay on target, right? It's less controllable even than the Auto 5 in that regard. Because it's lighter. The Auto 5 at least compensates some of its recoil just by being a heavy piece. But this one here is more the middle ground between the Spectre and the Auto 5.
Awesome. But that's not all, guys. We actually have a new weapon variant as well for you, which is actually a variant of one of these weapons. And this is the Terminus Handcannon version of the previous weapon that you guys just seen.
Obviously, we can't release an 1887 without having a sawn-off version, and so that just simply had to happen. And let's have a look at how they differ. So this is a medium slot weapon. Obviously has like a shorter barrel and no buttstock. It can still obviously use all the trades. It functions like the other weapon, and it has 1 round less capacity in the tube because obviously it's overall shortened.
And it has increased recoil, obviously, because
Yeah.
it's smaller. And as Dennis said, it has one less ammo capacity, and this is how it looks.
That still makes it basically a medium slot weapon that has like up to 6 rounds capacity. It's like quite a bit. So 50% more what the Spectre Compact, for example, can hold. But obviously it has its drawbacks in terms of you need to invest into traits in order to maximize it, as well as just like the damage recoil control being different. Like the Spectre Compact has a foregrip attached, which means the recoil is much more manageable on that one. This one doesn't, right? It kicks much more though.
Chat is saying Terminator mode activated. So let's just look at the video that we have prepared for you guys.
And yes, that had to be in there.
Yes. Let's just look at it a few times though. Too cool.
So it's like the basically there's the like the flip spin cock thingy there. We need that to be in there. That it just had to. It can play randomly, so once in a while it's going to be the normal reload as you see in the full version, and once in a while it just plays this one here, which I think looks very amazing, and I'm very happy how this turned out. And I can see from the chat, so are you.
Yeah, it seems like the chat really digs that one, so I'm glad.